everyone, welcome back to Careers, Joy and Sorrow, a career conversation of the joy and sorrow of each industry. Today we have our guest lecturer from the law industry, Mr. Stephen Ng. So, hi Mr. Stephen, can you do a self-introduction and some brief idea about your education background?
Okay. Good afternoon. First, I'd like to thanks for inviting me to join this discussion. My background is currently I'm a part-time lecturer, and previously I worked in commercial companies for probably 40 years, and I entered the education industry after I retired. So I worked for 5 to 6 years full-time, and then I kind of second retired, and then I went full-time into part-time lecturing in law in other fields as well. So my background as education is quite unique. Actually, I'm a science student. I started with studying science overseas in UK, and my degree was in biochemistry.
Wow.
And at that time, nobody knew what biochemistry. so I had to switch to studying something practical. So I did a master in food science, also in UK, and I came back with basically a food scientist in that sense. And I entered the world of working, and the first company I joined was a food industry company. So after working for a few years along the line of food industry, mostly consumer industry, I decided to, when I have my free time, to pursue my passion and curiosity in law. So I do part-time study on law on my own. So that time they offer this UK LLB, that degree. That one is external, so you can do part-time on that. So I finished that for, after that I pursued the local. To qualify for a lawyer, you need to get a license, which you have to do what you call certificate of legal practice. That is Malaysian bar. They will set that exam. And I finished that, and I went into practice for a short while. So later part, after my practice, I decided to go back to my commercial life. So that's a bit of my brief background. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Stephen is our part-time lecturer in FCC as well. So to kickstart for our conversation of today, can you tell us a little bit like how did you involve in the law field? Because you did Bachelor of Science and then Master of Science in Food and Management Services. So it is such a big shift, to be honest. So what has inspired you to do such big shifting in life?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess like all young kids at that time, the TV inspired me.
Oh,
Television
TV.
movie. Okay, there were a lot of good movie on lawyers and all that. So anyway, that was when I was very young. But anyway, as I grew older, some of my dad's friends are lawyers, and it inspired me because they are dedicated in their work. And as I grew older, I realized that the whole country is run by rule of law, and it's good that you have an understanding what is law and all that. So I took up a challenge to say that I have to study law as a point of educating myself, or more for self-improvement at the beginning. So that was I would say, is my switch from science to arts.
I see. All right. So we have listened to your education journey. So can you tell us a little bit of your lawyer journey of how many years are you in this industry? Yeah, the experience.
I wasn't long in this industry, as I said. Basically, I just practiced for about a year plus or two. Then I decided not to do it anymore for personal reason. That time I was already working somewhere around in my age of 40s.
Ooh.
So it's not like very young when I started my career.
Yeah.
So it's like all law graduates, you need to do an internship. You call it internship, we call it pupillage. So we have to attach to apprentice with a master, and that takes us 6 months to do it. So I was attached to the firm, and I got a feel to insight of what real law firm does for about 6 months. So one of the 6 months you finish, you will be graduated as a full-time, I would say fully qualified lawyers, and then you need to get your license from the bar. After that, I joined a small law firm, basically belong to a friend, to get the experience of what it's like, to get a taste of what's working as a lawyer. At the beginning, it was a lot of paperwork. If you like paperwork, it's a lot of paperwork because I'm doing conveyancing. So law has two parts. One part we call conveyancing, which is basically all the paperwork. The other one we call litigation, we go to court. But I was mostly on conveyancing. After a while, I did it, and I find that well, it's okay to learn, but I don't see this in my career in future. I mean, there are better things to do. I find for myself my interest on commercial side, which I spent already 20, 30 years of my career. So I continue with that career. So I left the touch of the law career. I wouldn't say compared to others, I'm not very experienced in that sense. Compared to my friend who whole life they continue from there and they started their own law firm and all that. I did not know. Okay. So yeah, that's my experience.
Okay, so thank you for sharing your experience. So what are the requirements for being a professional lawyer?
Okay, so the starting point is your education.
Yeah.
Because it's professional. So professional, you need to have the right qualification. So every lawyers have to graduate with at least a law degree, and then the most important to practice, you need what we call the license, which is called, you have to do through the civil legal practice, and you will be called to the bar. The bar is the association of lawyers that manage and control the law professions. Okay, so once you call to the bar, you are allowed to practice full-time lawyers, and that is the starting point. After that, I think it's most of your individual interests. Some people love to be conveyancing, okay? Some people like to be in litigation, so it depends on the interest. But it takes years to gain this experience, partly because there's so much thing to learn in real life on the practice of law. And the other thing is law basically is dynamic. It does change time to time, the laws. So I think that's a good start. So most of the young lawyers, they come out, they usually work for a firm to gain the experience. And after a while, maybe they are more confident. Some of them will join a bigger firm, law firm. Some of them will start on their own. So that is quite a normal pathway for them.
Okay, so do you think it's tough for you to come overcross after so many years?
Oh yes. As I said, I didn't take law when I was young. I think law was quite old.
So like for the few years you have been in this industry.
Yeah,
so was it tough?
It's definitely like it's getting from, how to put it, from water to land. Because in my commercial life, I'm already like 20, 30 years, I'm very comfortable with my position as senior management and all that. Now we start all over again. It's like I give up everything and start from zero ground. So that is definitely a challenge. So a lot of people, they may think of doing law in the sense that a change of career. My advice is you have to be very careful because you are starting from zero ground. And if you start your own firm, you don't have a fixed income. It's like any other business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you can you share the best and the worst experience that you can never forget as a lawyer?
Oh, okay. I think the worst experience I get is the struggle to study. If you ask most of the lawyers, even students, they are very frightened of the certificate legal practice, which is the qualifying exam. And this exam is very difficult. The percentage, I would say the percentage of passes for the first year is not very high. And that takes a lot of effort, a lot of endurance to study, and it's like you don't give up. And once you get through that, that is the, I would say, nightmare, because it's not like your normal university exam. It's a professional exam. So professional exam, the expectation quality is higher. So it takes a lot of dedication to study. So that is my only so-called not so good experience, because I was older, and when you study when you're older, it's tougher compared to a young, graduates.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, okay. So that's my own personal experience. But the funny part about it is when I practice law, I get to see certain unique situations. Like I was on one of these simple civil case, and this affect a particular client that is a banking industry. So they was going to take action against the bankrupt this particular debtor, and the debtor has a family, and he didn't realize that if he ignore the bank, his original loan is going to snowball to very expensive. So when I called him and said, look, you owe so much, he got a shock of his life, because he says, no, the interest is very low. I said, yeah, but I just see the compound interest. So he kind of didn't understand what's compound interest. And I told him, say, look, you better do something about it. At least you come and offer some kind of discussion with the bank. That will help you. So the point is, what's so funny is that this guy is also a tertiary lecturer.
Oh.
He's not your, supposed to be a learned guy, and he didn't understand what's compound interest. So when I explained to him, they dropped so much, I said, yeah. So that's a little incident that I laugh about it and I talk about it.
Okay. So, we have always heard lawyers are always trying to cheat you. They only do it for money. Becoming a lawyer means becoming rich. Okay. So after being in the industry for, as you said, not for so long, like for a few years, do you agree with these assumptions? Or do you have any comments about these assumptions?
Well, I didn't practice long, but I have a lot of lawyer friends who practice for up to their retirement age, criminal, civil, and all. So I still in touch with them because law is my interest. I would say, these comments are true, but they are like all industry. There are a few black sheep, there are minorities that they are in every industry. Yeah, you talk about teacher, you talk about management. They always got this black sheep. So I would say, it's true, but it's very minor. The good thing about it is that I think there's a lot of professional lawyers that truly believe in their profession, and some people they got it wrong in the sense that they thought, wow, if I become a lawyer, I'll be super rich. That's not going to happen. That's not true, and unfortunately, some will be a bit unethical in their dealing.
Yeah.
So I think it's more to individual. I can't say it's a general observation. But no, I don't think this profession is that bad. I mean, it's a very minority, I would say that.
Okay, so this is a serious question now. So in Malaysia, the Employment Act 1955 is the most important legislation for our labor law. So it sets out the minimum benefits that employees should receive during an employment. However, not all employees are aware with this act. So from your perspective as a lawyer, what are the most important points in this act that every employee, they should take note in order to protect themselves and their rights?
So this act is a very old act, but recently has been amended, which is good. There was improvement in the original form a few years back. The Employment Act only help or protect employees that's earning about 1,002 or 1,005 a month. So the new amendment has changed it to update that today minimum wage is already 1,005. Most graduate will not start at that level. I mean, they're talking about most graduate will be at least 2,000, 3,000.
Yeah.
So if we follow that act, unfortunately, a lot of new employees may not be protected. So the good news is they have amended it, and they cover a higher level of income level. So a lot of new employees will be able to enjoy this protection. Unfortunately, this law is never really been the forefront of legal because most of people talk about contract. They know something about contract, but they don't really know anything about Employment Act. And in school, they don't teach anything like this. So the key point is that number one, let's tell people working, the first employment letter you get, please don't take it as just a letter because legally it's your contract. And all your rights and liabilities is based on that particular letter of employment, which is your contract. So one must do is to read it carefully and understand it. And if you're not sure, it is your right to ask your potential employer and say, look, what does this particular sentence means? And if you find that it's very, how to put it, disadvantage to you, you could do the things. One is to tell them, say, look, I don't think this particular terms is fair to me. And if they are happy to compromise with you, good for you. If you don't, don't join the company. Because everything is run by contract, employment, yeah. So actually it's a contractual relationship. It's not so much as a HR, PR type of relationship. People always got it wrong, thinking that, well, HR is like personal, we call people to people. No, when things go wrong, it's purely about law. So that's one point. Number two is one should read some basic rights of the employees. For example, like today, the amendment has just started. I think it's March the 1st should change. Formally, 1 week you are legally expected to work 48 hours. I think the latest one, if I'm not wrong, announced is only 45 hours. So after March the 1st, anything you work more than 45 hours is overtime. Okay, if the letter employment still talk about 48 from your employer, then you should highlight to them, say, look, the new law has changed. Yep. So a lot of people may not know that. Number two, there was an amendment to, if I remember, it's on the maternity leave.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the old maternity leave is 60 days. The new one is 90 days. But I'm not quite sure, but I haven't seen the act, whether it talk about only government employees or private, but I believe it should be general. Okay? So this is some of the changes, yeah. So I think it's important that you know something about your employment law in that sense. And the other thing about, not just about the working hours, I think it's very important to know about when, like all things, people may work for a while and they decide to resign for future career or whatever. You have to follow the process that is stated in your letter. If you ignore it, you will get a potential lawsuit by your employer. So it's not just like, I do what I like. It's not like that. Yeah, you have to look carefully in your employment letter when they will say it's either party. When you terminate, you must give me notice and all. That is required to be followed. So a lot of people don't get that. So these are the key points for, let's say, new working adults. Other than that, benefits, all this, yes, it was stated in your letter.
Yeah.
So that you should have the right to get it, right? And benefit can be negotiated before this letter comes out. That is when you go in interview. If you feel strongly about certain benefits or that you must have, I think it's good that during interview you should request. Okay, I'm saying you request, but not demand.
I would like to ask a bit upward if you ask during the interview.
Yeah, I mean, part of the interview when HR would say something like, you got any questions? They will ask something like this. You say, okay, fine. May I know what is the benefits your company offer? They will tell you a list of things, right? and maybe you felt that there are certain benefits that you may want, you can always bring it up as a discussion, not to demand. It says, look, what about, let's say, if something like this happened, or what is your future look on company benefit? Are you bringing new benefits or whatever? Like for example, today, like work from home, have never been a concept in employment. Some company allow that, especially the big multinational. Some companies don't allow that, so you have to be clear. And again, something amended recently, which is good, is that the government allowed employees with the new Employment Act amendment that employee can request through the process of writing to the employer that, can I work from home? But the employer is the one who will decide as to their discretion whether they can work from home. At least there is an opportunity to compromise or work with the employer and say, can I work from home for certain days? Yeah. This was never done before. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of changes, new changes, some of the things I mentioned.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So I believe this is such a new info for me as a fresh graduate and everyone, including our audience as well. I do feel that new employed fresh graduates, they should take note of these items that mentioned by Mr. Steven for them to prepare themselves to enter the industry. So, Mr. Steven, based on your experience and your journey for a few years in this industry, what are your advice for the younger generation before they enter this industry, the real world of the law, and what are the do's and don'ts as an employee or in general when you work as a professional lawyer?
My advice is for fresh graduate law graduates. Number one, I think you need to get your experience, and that is very important. The reason is very simple. Legal profession, I'm not saying that other professions not important. Legal profession is sometimes, if you look at it, if you're in criminal law, it could be life and death of someone. That means you're going to either defend a client who is now in a criminal offense, been charged, and is life and death possible, or maybe worse. Small. You may say, "Oh, this is a small crime," but behind that small crime, he got families to feed, he got children to feed, and all that. So one should not take it lightly that you look at this like somebody say, "Oh, it's just a job." This is not just a job, right? This is very different from other type of job. It could cause somebody's life and death, or somebody's suffering, and this suffering could be affecting families. So I would say, please don't be hurried to get your own firm or whatever. Gain as much experience as you can, and be confident. Yep, and know what you're actually doing. Even in civil area where we're doing conveyancing, it's not just a paperwork, not your normal borang you fill up and then say, okay, no, I just really done with it. Because if you're not careful, you're careless, somebody could lose a house.
Wow.
Somebody could lose, his assets, and it happened to be a client. So if you not careful and you're just doing half-heartedly, then I say, please don't get into this profession, because if you look carefully, it's not just the money, it's people trusting you, your professional advice, and says that, look, I come for you for professional advice, please tell me what to do. And you have to be very careful and very, 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 I would say, be passionate about it. And don't treat it as just like, just a normal job. It's not a job. I call it a profession. That's why you call it a profession, we don't call it a job.
Professional lawyer.
Yeah.
All right, so before we dismiss, what are your advice for those who may wanted or interested to start their journey as a lawyer? As we can say, like they want to pursue their study in this stream.
Well, one is you can do is you probably try to talk to some, if you know some lawyers, it's easy. Like if you just talk to them, say, what is this all about? And if you have friends or anybody who are in law practice, and just drop by and spend, let's say, a couple of weeks with them, and you can see it's not all glamour. It's a lot of work, and you get a feel for it, and you say, okay, can you see yourself going to this type of work for maybe 30, 40 years of your life? So that might be a starting point. I'm sure if you go to the Bar Council, we have what they call legal aids. Quite interesting, yeah. Legal aids are where we lawyers and also the young lawyers mostly will offer their service. This voluntary service we offer, yeah. And we give this service to this legal aid center, where we help people with, put it this way, their income level are not that high, and they can't afford to hire lawyers. So they will go to this legal aid center, ask for advice and all that. So I think that will be a good start. Maybe if you don't have lawyer friends, just go and ask the legal aid, says, could I offer some kind of service? I think they're quite happy. Like maybe just do some office work for them and all that. That is a good area to go to. Okay, legal aid. Or you can join a lot of NGOs who also deal with legal work. Yeah, like women's. There's a lot of NGOs about working with women's. I couldn't remember which one. Yeah, where some of them work with abused family. Yeah, some are talking about women rights group. So these NGOs are also concerned legal matters, and most of NGOs, I think they will have some legal work there. So you are interested, you probably work with this social group. It's good, it's also good. I mean, there are many. There are some specialized in Orang Asli. Okay, the rights of Orang Asli today. Orang Asli is struggling. You get involved with them, and you can see some kind of human right on that part about Orang Asli. So these are good area to get a feel, and during your break or whatever, before you really go into whether you want to study, is get involved with this kind of work, and you get a feel. Look, whether I'm interested or not, right? So that can be part of it. Now today I know that some even go into political parties.
Wow.
Yeah, political parties. I've seen some of them, young interns or some young lawyers. They want to be in. Well, politics and law, they're quite close. I'm not saying you must go into politics, but you are there to help people, because a lot of these political centers are helping residents. Yeah, it's not about you vote for me. Yeah? So they offer some kind of civil service, social service. Now you go there, they need a lot of help, and you see through simple work, and you feel for it. Say, look, I enjoy this kind of work, and I can see myself doing it. Yep.
But can they get this information from like Students' Council? Yeah.
You Google Student Council, or you just go to the website. You Google the Malaysian, they have it, and you give them a call. I think they're most welcome to work with you. Even OKU, OKU, they have centers. I know some of my friends are OKU. They always sometimes ask my help in the sense that what to do this and do that. Like they don't know how to claim their benefits, and they do not do this, they don't know how to do that. So this could be a part that you can start. It's semi-legal. We call it paralegal. That means you don't really go to court and file things. It's paralegal. And it's a good start. You start with paralegal. Yeah. Paralegal are not the full-fledged legal work.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen, for your time. I'm sure we've learned a lot from you. It's a great sharing session. I have a lot of fun to have this conversation with you today. So with that, we will end the podcast for today. Thank you for staying with us. And next episode, we're going to talk about the PR industry, and we will have our guest lecturer as well. Follow our Instagram for more information at CJS_2023_. Thank you and bye.